There were over 70 games announced for Xbox over the showcase period, and a couple of new Xbox devices too. Either way, here's a quick recap of all the Xbox games that we've had a look at, and there's loads, so Bex and I will be tag teaming this one. This video is brought to you by Mind's Eye.
So, before we get into the games in order of release, because we're good to you like that, lay it out nice and straight, let's talk about the big announcement in new Xbox devices: the ROG Xbox Ally and the ROG Xbox Ally X. These lovely handhelds have been designed to deliver a seamless Xbox experience, letting you stream and download games from the Microsoft Store, the Game Pass library, Steam, Battle.net, and more. And we know they'll be available this holiday season. Now then, back to the present and on to June and what's available soon. The Elder Scrolls Online got an oddly adorable new trailer which gave players two major things to get excited about: the Seasons of the Worm Cult update, which arrives on June 18th, and adds some extremely cool stuff, like the ability to mix and match skill lines with the new subclassing system. And then, looking ahead to October, Tamriel will experience its first ever world-changing server-wide event, as players can look forward to take down the writhing wall. Because if there is one thing I will not tolerate in my walls, it's writhing. And if Bethesda's other MMO, Fallout 76, has you hooked, then you'll love the game's new fishing-centric update, Gone Fishin', which is available right now. Islanders New Shores is a city builder where you try to cram as much city onto a tiny little island as you possibly can, and it'll be out on July 10th. Obsidian seem to have unlocked a few extra hours in the day because they somehow have had a massive sequel to tell us about, Grounded 2, set in a community park which is 3 times larger than the yard from the first game. The sequel also introduces mounts called buggies, hilarious, and new archetype playstyles too. Grounded 2 will be coming straight to Game Pass in game preview on July 19th, which means that Obsidian will have released 3 brand new titles by the time 2025 is done, which is quite frankly ridiculous. Well done, team. Ahead of its day one Game Pass release, also in July on the 11th, we got to learn a little more about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. Mostly that it looks absolutely sensational, that it features 8-way multiplayer, and that it will let you play as cartoonish, larger-than-life characters like the Doomslayer, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Bam Margera. Oh, and that there's a demo available on Game Pass right now. We'll have perspective-shifting, puzzle-solving fun to enjoy in Monument Valley 3 on July 22nd, which is very exciting no matter which way you look at it. The Hobbity life sim Tales of the Shire will officially be opening its little circular doors to players on July 29th, and Ninja Gaiden will be going back to its side-scrolling, spine-stabbing roots with Ragebound on July 31st.
Gears of War Reloaded supercharges the original game with 4K visuals, 120 FPS multiplayer, and full crossplay and cross-progression, so you and your buddies can get straight back into the action, whatever you're playing on. Naturally, it will also be coming straight to Game Pass, and it's set to arrive on August 26th. If you're a Sea of Thieves player looking for a new line of work that's quite a lot like your old line of work, then why not try smuggling? It's going to be all the rage when the game's 17th season, titled Smuggler's Tide, kicks off this August. And we'll all be talking shop in Discounty, a supermarket sim where you've got to make a new life for yourself as a local shopkeeper, on August 21st. And then Dying Light The Beast will be out on August 22nd, and it's bringing the original protagonist, Kyle Crane, back into the fold. Moonlighter has had a real glow-up, trading in the first game's pixel art style for some sweet 3D visuals. And that's not all that Moonlighter 2 The Endless Vault has got in store. Everyone's favourite shopkeeping sim / dungeon crawler now comes with new weapons, new enemies, and new mechanics too. It'll be hitting the shelves and coming straight to Game Pass this summer. From the Mix Summer Showcase, Football Heroes League revolutionises the sport by giving the players freeze rays and magnet boots and all sorts of stuff. It'll be out on September 16th and it's going to be free to play. Toa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree is an action game from Bandai Namco that boasts Hades-style combat and a cast of adorable anime characters. And a fish man, why not? It'll be released on September 19th. And then come September 25th, the Vocaloid internet sensation Hatsune Miku will be racing alongside Persona's Joker, Steve from Minecraft, and, of course, Sonic the Hedgehog in Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. Anyway, the next game's a bit scary and I don't want to wet myself, so over to you, Bex.
Silent Hill F also got a new trailer, and would you believe that this one is quite scary too? It's almost like they're doing this on purpose. The new entry in this OG survival horror series stars a Japanese high schooler in a town that would make for a lovely holiday destination if it wasn't full of fog and knife monsters. It'll be out on September 25th. And here's one a lot of folk have been wishing on for a while. Final Fantasy Tactics is officially getting a remaster. It'll be called Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles, and it'll include all sorts of modernizations, including voice acting and a revamped interface. And you only have to wait until September 30th for it. We've now got so many great games lined up for October, it's spooky. There's a new, very Persona-y Digimon RPG called Digimon Storytime Stranger on the 3rd, and Keeper, an adventure game about a sentient lighthouse from the creators of Psychonauts, coming on the 17th. Developed by action gaming legends Platinum Games, Ninja Gaiden 4 showed off a new trailer featuring all sorts of gnarly combos, oversized weapons, and the chance to use a giant drill spear against a freaky bird. So if that sort of thing interests you, then look for it in the Game Pass catalog on October 21st. And then we've got The Outer Worlds 2, the sequel to Obsidian's hit space traveling action RPG, which looks bigger and better in every way. You'll be able to kit your character out with all sorts of positive and negative qualities. From bad knees to kleptomania, there are so many choices to make with weapons and companions, and you'll be able to start making them on October 29th when The Outer Worlds 2 comes straight to Game Pass. And there's more sci-fi action on the 30th with the PvPvE extraction shooter Ark Raiders. Chronos: The New Dawn is a third-person horror game that boasts beautiful visuals and some decidedly less than beautiful monsters. It'll be out this autumn, at which time Age of Mythology Retold will be getting even more godly thanks to a new update called Heavenly Spear that adds a whole Japanese pantheon of gods, monsters, and big dudes with spiky sticks. Yeah! Then there's Solo Leveling: Arise Overdrive, which sounds like a bit of a gaming Mad Lib, but is actually a super stylish action game with an emphasis on co-op. It's hitting PC this fall and then consoles next year.
Squanch Games also revealed High on Life 2, which promises to introduce even more living guns for players to get to grips with, including a bow and arrow-shaped fella and a fire-belching turtle. It's going to be skating straight to Game Pass this winter. Then Square Enix took the stage with a Final Fantasy double whammy. The latest game, Final Fantasy 16, just dropped straight onto Xbox, while the all-time classic 7th game has been remade, remastered, and reimagined in Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade and will be coming to Xbox this winter. Right, still with me? Great, because we've got 6 more 2025 releases to rattle off real quick. Pathologic 3 is a first-person RPG about a young doctor who arrives in a strange town and discovers that he's got 12 days to stop a mysterious plague from spreading before the whole place is kaput. Ratatan is not a rodent gifted in the culinary arts, but a rhythmic roguelike where players lead an army of up to 100 critters into battle. Milano's Odd Job Collection is a cheerful minigame collection about a purple-haired girl whose talents range from delivering pizzas to milking flying cows. Toxic Crusaders is an old-school beat-em-up based on the cult classic cartoon that spun off from the cult classic movies. Plus, the team behind beat-em-up TMNT Shredder's Revenge are turning their talents to the Marvel universe this holiday season with Marvel Cosmic Invasion. It features 15 playable heroes, including Rocket Raccoon, Venom, and She-Hulk. Plus, later this year, the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection will bring together a whole bunch of classic entries in the series into one deadly package, including the first 4 games and Mortal Kombat's Advance, Deadly Alliance, and Tournament Edition.
Okay, now then, let's talk about the huge list of games showing that are either coming next year or don't have dates attached. Mysterious, eh? Ooh. Resonance: A Plague Tale Legacy is a prequel which stars our favourite treasure hunter, Sophia. And it has a classical feel about it, you know, what with the Minotaur and the Labyrinth and all. It'll be coming day one to Game Pass next year, and so will these next two games, both of which have serious Studio Ghibli vibes. The third-person fantasy adventure Beast of Reincarnation, and the side-scrolly sequel Planet of Lana 2: Children of the Leaf. If you're out for blood, then give the vampiric action-adventure The Blood of the Dawnwalker a look. Looks so much fun. Or you could go for the splattery cartoon platformer Super Meat Boy 3D, which will be landing day one on Game Pass early next year. Aphelion is out next year and is a spacefaring adventure that was actually made in collaboration with the European Space Agency. And if you're more interested in time than space, Clockwork Revolution showed off some seriously cool features and some excellent mustaches. Both games will be coming straight to Game Pass. And so will There Are No Ghosts in the Grand, which looks absolutely bonkers. It's a first-person renovation game / supernatural mystery / reggae musical where you get to pal around with a talking cat and a very Scottish Pip-Boy. Mudang Two Hearts is a third-person game that takes place in a near-future dystopia where rage has been weaponized and things are looking generally not great. But the vibes are much better in Anemo, which crammed more adorable critters into one trailer than any other game in history. We checked.
We got a head-spinning look at Call of Duty Black Ops 7, which is taking a series in a bold new direction. Futuristic technology, mind-bending images, a sci-fi vibe, and TV's Milo Ventimiglia. I mean, these are just some of the exciting new things you can expect to see when it comes straight to Game Pass. Also arriving in 2026, At Fate's End is a 2D action game featuring some absolutely painterly graphics and a cool mechanic where you pick dialogue options mid-battle. Persona 4 Revival's reveal trailer just kept things brief, but then what more do you need to know? It's getting gorgeously remade, just like Persona 3 was, and it will be available on Game Pass from day one. The hit graphic novel turned animated series Invincible is getting the arcade fighter treatment in 2026 with Invincible Versus. It will feature 3v3 tag matches involving the titular hero and a load of other characters from the show, including the mighty Omni-Man. So I guess we'll find out if he really is. Capcom has promised that Resident Evil Requiem will be a significant shift in the series with a focus on cinematic high-stakes action. But what does that mean exactly? Well, we'll find out on February 27th when the game arrives on Xbox Series X and S and PC. For more on that when we get it, and all the games in this video by the way, make sure you subscribe to us. Speaking of classic Capcom franchises, Onimusha has been resurrected in style with Way of the Sword on the way sometime in 2026. And Scott Pilgrim EX is a game that we know will fall deeply in lesbians with because it brings back the co-op brawling of Pilgrim's previous game and the series' original author, Brian Lee O'Malley.
Munfish also announced a sequel to their freaky 50s FPS Atomic Heart, and they've also got an MMO set in that universe in the works called The Cube. There's more sequel-y things happening in Mortal Shell 2, which will give players even more ways to bludgeon their enemies. And if you'd prefer a more constructive co-op experience, LEGO Voyagers will feature a split fiction style friend pass, and Big Walk has players using signs, flares, and other neat tools to navigate an open world together. Snap and Grab is a quirky 80s adventure where you play as a famous photographer who's actually a master thief. Guess everyone's working 2 jobs these days. And there's more plundering fun afoot in Relooted, where you'll be snatching back African artifacts so that they can be returned to their rightful homes. Ill is an absolutely brutal looking body horror game, while Possessors has players side-scrolling through a dystopian hellscape along with their demonic sidekick. All of which sounds kind of stressful. Fortunately though, we've got Mixtape also on the way with a soundtrack full of jams and a heartwarming story about friendship and nostalgia. Aww.
If you're looking to change career in 2026, we've got some great options. You could become a thief in the first-person stealth actioner Thick as Thieves, create and market your very own game in the industry sim Let's Build a Dungeon, or do some packing in first-person narrative game One Move Away. Then there's Linked, Banner of the Spark, which lets you fish and farm and battle evil and befriend robots. Wow. In other news, Pragmata is a third-person adventure which stars a guy in a Vanquish-style robo-suit and his adorable blonde-haired buddy, and which Capcom has been working on since 2020. And there's more super stylish, slightly insane action to be found in both Suda51's new title, Romeo is a Dead Man, and the new Bloodstained game, The Scarlet Engagement.
Finally, in 2026, James Bond fans can expect to get shaken and stirred by 007 First Light. A third-person affair, it'll serve as an origin story which follows Baby Bond as he earns his license to kill. Whew, alrighty then, that's quite the list, so I really only have one question, which is, of the many games that Henry and I just talked about, what caught your eye the most? Be sure to let us know down in the comments. This video was brought to you by Mind's Eye, a narrative-driven single-player action-adventure thriller set in the near future, featuring best-in-class cinematics, high-octane driving, and explosive combat. You play as Jacob Diaz, a former elite soldier fitted with the Mind's Eye, a mysterious neural implant that haunts him with fragmented memories of a covert mission that changed his life forever. Fight to uncover the truth in the fictional desert city of Red Rock, a world where AI, high-tech experimentation, and unchecked military power shape every encounter. Intense combat on foot, behind the wheel, and in the sky is coming your way. Encounters where every decision is the difference between survival and defeat. Pre-order Mind's Eye now and get a free upgrade to the Deluxe Edition. Bye!
It was an ambush. Do not lose her. Tires are out. Proceeding on foot. I'm coming to you now. The search and rescue bots. They're malfunctioning. They're attacking us.